Where do you think you're going? We gotta play some more Homebrew games on the Game Boy.
This is part 4 of Homebrew games on the Game Boy. And for the first game, we're going to take a look at a Mario Kart demake for the Game Boy. It has 3 courses to begin with, and you can choose between Mario, Princess Peach, Luigi, and Yoshi. The game is a top-down racer, and you move by holding the D-pad in the direction you want to go, which at first feels weird because you're not pressing A to go. But I guess since there's only 2 face buttons, you would have to either let go of A to use an item with B, or press them together with your thumbs, if you were to use A to go in this game, that is. But with using the D-pad to move, you actually use A to use an item in the game. So the races are 3 laps, and they're short races, with the 3 available from the start being N64 Moo Moo Farm, SNES Ghost Valley 3, and the Wii Coconut Mall. As I mentioned, you can get an item such as a mushroom for a boost, and if you hit an obstacle like a cow, you freeze up for a second. The game's difficulty is kind of hard. The enemy racers are almost perfect, and they take the faster way in the maps, so you have to be perfect. I usually get the item if I can, and I save it for when I need it. The easiest map for me was the Ghost Valley, even though it has the extra hazard of being able to fall off the map. There's also arrows on the map that give you some speed, and in the Coconut Mall level, there's the up and down escalators, which can speed you up or slow you down. Once you do beat all 3 of the maps, you can unlock Rainbow Road, and just like regular Mario Kart, it's one single track instead of 3 looping laps. And just like in Mario Kart again, it's also very difficult. And here's where the D-pad control makes it a little harder to control with these quick tight turns. You can let go of the D-pad and switch directions, and your character will go a little bit forward, so you just have to time these turns perfectly. But I finally beat Rainbow Road, and when you beat the game, it unlocks a new character, Forza. And a hard difficulty? Okay, let's try this hard difficulty. Nope. Well, it's true to its name, hard difficulty. The game grew on me and it has its charm. The way they made it with limited buttons, and the hardware of the Game Boy is great, and the Rainbow Road level really feels like a Mario Kart. If Nintendo had made a Mario Kart on the Game Boy, this could have been the foundation for it. The next game on our list is Geometry Dash for the Game Boy. I guess technically another demake, and here it's a demake of Geometry Dash, which is a game where you play as a cube and have to jump through the course while trying to dodge spikes and clear gaps. I never really played Geometry Dash. I played Impossible Game back on the Xbox 360, which is like a more basic version of Geometry Dash, I guess. And on the Game Boy, this game makes sense. You don't really need many buttons, and it's a simple 2D game. But here's where it plays a little bit different. First, there's no music, at least when I try to play it, and the highest difference is that the level doesn't move by itself. You have to make the cube go by holding the D-pad, and you jump with A. You can stop moving and even move backwards, so it's almost like a platformer now. And you can be thinking, well, this isn't Geometry Dash anymore if you can just control the cube's direction directly. But it sounds easier than it is. The cube slides around, so when you stop and change directions, it still moves a little bit in either direction. And it's hard to stop mid-air and try to land on platforms, which adds to the game's difficulty. But I assume it's to also lengthen the levels a bit. And also, after you get better at the game, you can almost hold the D-pad down, and it's like regular Geometry Dash. Well, almost. There's also bumpers on the floor that make you jump automatically, and coins to collect on the level. There's 4 levels which all increase in difficulty, and the balance between moving your cube and stopping versus just pressing a button on the regular Geometry Dash adds a unique element to the Game Boy. And this could have been a good puzzle game on the system. The game even has different cubes you can use in an extra mode that states that it's coming soon. A Geometry Dash clone, but what about an Algebra Dash clone? Get it? Algebra? Geometry? Okay, for the last game, it's something more in pop culture today, with a new season on Netflix. A Squid Game video game on the Game Boy. Did you ever think you would hear that sentence? It's real, and it plays out the events from the first season. So if you haven't seen the first season of Squid Games and don't want any spoilers, why don't you just give this video a like and subscribe and pause it here while you go watch the show. Oh wait, I'll know if you subscribe too, I'm making a list. The game, as I mentioned, goes over the first season, and it has cutscenes from the game. It actually has a lot from the show, mainly a brief overview, so sure it doesn't have every detail or anything, but the first level is red light, green light, and just like in the show, you have to make it to the finish line within the time limit. When the doll turns around and you're caught moving, you lose. It even has a piggy bank animation, and the 8-bit Squid Game music, which sounds really good on the Game Boy. It has a second level, the cookie cutting one. You also play a level where you have to survive the night, like in that one episode. So you get to move on to the next game, just like in the show. The rope pull level here has you mash the B button, and when you fill up the meter, you have to press B again, but this time in the rhythm of the game. The next level is the marble level, and this whole time you're playing as player 456, and the marble level gives you an option to lie when you choose the wrong option in odd or even marbles. The next level in the game is the glass jumping one. The game even has the glass worker who knows different glass material, and then they turn off the lights. Finally, the last game, Squid Game. You have to step on the other character 5 times to win, and then you go touch the base. 456 wins the game, and you get credits playing the Squid Game theme. And there's also a hard difficulty where you only have 1 life, which is more true to the show. And to real life too, I guess. This Homebrew game feels like a real Game Boy game with different levels and cutscenes. And a Squid Game Game Boy game actually feels at home on the console with simple controls and gameplay. These 3 games showcase, just like in the other videos, that Homebrew games bring a fresh, unique experience to the Game Boy. 35 plus years later after its release, and we're getting new games from the community on the system, which goes to show you the dedication from the community. And it's not just on the Game Boy, it's on the Color, the GBA, and so on. And actually, where are my other systems? Where do you think you're going?